Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Candy Factory. Actually, the venue is the 6th floor here, located at the Candy Factory for this month's Success Seminar by Rockstar Connect Lancaster, powered by eXp Realty. That would be Janet, my wonderful wife, and I are both branch owners of eXp Realty based here in the Candy Factory. And today we've got a success seminar featuring good friend and ultimate professional, Karlo Gesner, who has his own photography business. And we're going to talk about how to make your social media pics look professional, obviously taught by a professional. So I've been privy to seeing what the presentation looks like in advance, and you're in for a treat because he absolutely is able to I think he's going to blow your mind on what you can actually do with the equipment that you probably already have. So I won't talk too much more about that, but Rockstar Connect Lancaster is a free monthly business networking event. And we host that event each and every month at Stoner Grille. So our next event, and you should be able to see it on the screen, is coming up on October 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. If you want a cheat code, it's every second Thursday of the month. So we look forward to seeing you out there, where we have business owners, professionals, and success-minded individuals all coming together to grow their business through the power of relationships and building your network. So it's free to attend. It's a mix and mingle format for the Rockstar Connect Lancaster events, and we hope to see you there so we can help you connect with those individuals that can ultimately develop into referral partners and, really good friends. So with that, I'd like to introduce my friend and ultimate professional again, Karlo Gesner with Karlo Gesner Photography.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Success Seminar today. Just want to say thank you to Chuck and Janet, eXp Realty, as well as the Candy Factory for having us here today, having myself. We have about 12 people in the room right now, and we have all of you at home or wherever you may be. And we really encourage you to get interactive with the comments if you have any questions throughout. And I'd like to encourage everyone here that if you have any questions throughout the presentation whatsoever, please, please, please ask. Me, I'm an experiential learner. So the most important thing for me is that you get something out of this, and that we can also, walk out of this room with something that you can apply to social media. Okay? So real quick, just want to welcome the room again. And being that we have people at home, we have people here, I do want to ask real quick, who here obviously is on social media? Okay. Who here uses social media for their job? Okay. That's everyone. And is there anyone here in marketing, social media specialist, or anything like that? Okay, no one? So everyone's pretty much like a business owner using it for their personal branding or something like that. Basically just utilizing social media to put. So today, we're going to be covering some basic facts about social media. We're also going to be talking about some hidden/seldom used iPhone features that are going to improve the photography. We're going to talk about the basics of lighting. So that's really important because photography is all about lighting. You can have the best expression in the world, best reaction in the world, best composition. If the lighting is off, it's just not going to come through. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a few creative photo techniques that you can do to kind of spice up your feed. We're also going to discuss a basic lighting setup for YouTube. So for any YouTubers out there, or if you're into Reels or anything like that, you can do a basic lighting setup on the cheap, and it'll get you out there. And then also cheap must-have gear. So I don't like the word cheap, but affordable. A brief history of my professional career. Yeah, I sound like I've been around for a long time, but I'm entirely self-taught. I've been a professional photographer for coming up on 15 years. I grew up in a very rural area in Western Maryland, so I learned entirely off the internet. And they say you can learn anything off YouTube, and it's absolutely true, as long as you take those concepts and you bring them out into the real world and test them for yourself. I am the main photographer for Susquehanna Style Magazine, and also the former photographer for Fig Magazine, very well-known publication in town. And some of my current clients are Holloway Media, the Press Room, and Lenovo Computers.
And EXP Realty.
And EXP Realty. Just a couple of quick samples of some of my work. You can catch this online. This is one of our Candy Factory members, Zach. He had me do some branding photography for his website business. There's Janet. Also do headshots, quantity headshots for anybody out there. But let's talk about made with iPhone, okay? So here's a couple images. Obviously, your phone's not gonna be the exact or better than a professional DSLR camera. It's just not there. But if you utilize the techniques that I teach you today, understand a bit about lighting, work on moments and things like that, you can get really quality results. A couple images of a Candy Factory member that I shot yesterday. And who here is Android? I'm sorry. Sorry, throwing a little shade there. But does it matter? It doesn't really matter, okay? The iPhone 13, which is what I have right now, and the Samsung Galaxy S21 both shoot at 12 megapixels, okay? Comparatively, the Canon Rebel XSI, which is a 2008 DSLR, many people are familiar with Canon Rebels, also shoots at 12 megapixels, okay? So is it about the equipment? Kind of, sort of, okay? It's more about your understanding and what you can do with the knowledge of photography to produce good photographs. So let's see, a quick few facts about social media. We're gonna get into some demos here soon too. This is not entirely a PDF presentation. So there are 3 billion active social media users worldwide, which doesn't surprise me. 79% of all Americans have a social media profile. 216,000 photos are published to Instagram every minute, okay? So the question is, how do you stand out, right? How do you make your feed quality? 55% of consumers learn about new brands on social media. 78% of consumers are willing to buy from a company after having a positive experience with them on social. And then this is my general philosophy. Basically, aesthetic equals attention, equals engagement, equals leads, equals sales, right? It's all about those DMs, right? So the DMs, the messages, you want them to reach out to you. Just a quick graph for anyone that's interested, percentage of people using social media on a daily basis. Most people are on Facebook. A lot of people use YouTube. Basically, I use it for DIY projects around the house. Instagram is the third most popular, and then Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok going down after that. Another thing to think about is also think about where your audience is. Is your audience on Facebook? Is your audience younger, like they're on Snapchat or TikTok, okay? That's really where you want to channel your social media efforts. So real quick, we are going to do a demo. This is the basics of composition, and I'm going to show you a couple features on the iPhone that are pretty straightforward that'll help you out in your photography. So I'm going to need a volunteer. Sai, come on up. Give it up for Sai.
Thank you.
Awesome. Sai, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am from Lancaster, Lancaster native, raised here, not born here, but raised here. I'm a drone pilot. What else? Dive on a little bit of real estate. That's how I met Chuck. And yeah.
Awesome. So how do you use social media?
I use social media mostly for engaging with my audience and engaging with anybody, like just posting my content out there to get clients, to get leads, and then exactly.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming up.
For sure. Thank
All
you.
right. So real quick, we're going to set up this little demo area over here. So Sai, I'd like you to have a seat real quick.
Hello, everyone out there.
Hello, Internet. So let me get this streaming on the TV so our audience here can see exactly what we're looking at. Right there. Good. There you are. Okay. So real quick, who here knows about the rule of thirds? Just by a little round of applause or something like that. Raising hands, that's good. Okay, we got some rule of thirds. Feel like I'm on a game show right now. So yeah, for those of you who don't know about the rule of thirds, basically it is, imagine a tic-tac-toe board that is drawn on your frame. And the whole idea is that you want to place your subject where those tic-tac-toe intersections are. We'll pull that up real quick. So typically, with a point and shoot camera, which is kind of like our trainer for like, iPhones and Samsungs and stuff like that, oftentimes people will place a subject right in the middle. Do that again. Nice. Okay, so that's a picture right in the middle. Not bad, right? But the space above his head isn't doing anything for me. The expression is fantastic. But other than that, one of my main philosophies whenever I'm doing photography is that you want to fill the frame with as much good and interesting stuff as possible, okay? I mean, there is space for negative space if you're thinking about putting text up there, graphics or captions or something like that. You can definitely plan for that in advance. But this as a standalone photograph, I love his expression, is not, kind of compositionally correct. It could be better, is what I'm trying to say, okay? So I'm going to go back to the camera real quick. And see the grid lines right there? We're just going to place him at the top third, okay? In fact, I'm going to go a little down further. Actually, I'm going to bring it in closer. That's good right there. All right, show me a face.
Try to get the same one.
So you can see this is the photograph from that, as opposed to that one, okay?
They're coming for you.
So, just raise your hands real quick. Which of these two is more interesting to you? One? One, good. Yeah, you can shout it out if you want. And there's two, all right? Basic concept of rule of thirds. We placed him on the top third. Basically, these grid lines are your guide. The other thing we can do is we can place them at the intersection. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. See where I'm placing that? Just right on his eye?
Yep.
Yep. Just give me a smile. Nice. Okay. Not too bad. I would definitely crop in a little bit. That rule of thirds still applies. There's that negative space at the top that I still feel like is kind of not doing anything for me. But that's the beauty of iPhone photography, Samsung, Android, whatever you're using, is that you have the crop feature in post. But you can still see the basic principle is there, where he is basically right where his eye is, where the intersection of that tic-tac-toe is happening. Okay? You can apply this in a bunch of different ways. I would really highly recommend turning on the grid in your general settings. All you have to do is go to general settings in an iPhone, search for camera, and there's a little grid switch that will turn it on so you can see it all the time. Let's see here real quick. That being said,
Shout out my boy Neo.
we're also going to talk about focus selection and exposure control. So a lot of times when people are shooting with their iPhones, regular cameras, all that type of stuff, they let the camera just go on auto, okay? So the camera is guessing at what you want to focus on, okay? Sometimes it does a good job, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of a crapshoot, okay? So the whole idea is whenever I'm doing photography, if I have a creative vision or an idea in my head, I want to make it come to life with the tools that I have and the techniques and strategies and stuff. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So going back to the camera app. So the whole idea behind focus selection is, do me a favor, put your hand out like this, okay? So as we can see in this image right now, his eyes are in focus. Camera's doing a good job. The AI is doing a good job of recognizing his face. His hand's out in front. Now, say for example, he were holding, I don't know, holding what?
An apple.
An apple. Imagine he was holding an apple. Oh, perfect. So he's holding some AirPods right now. Just by tapping on those AirPods, okay, I'm able to put those in focus and him slightly out of focus. Is that, yeah? Cool thing about this is if you ever try to do something that's a super unique composition, oh, that's not gonna work for the camera. Let's try this. I'm gonna bring a plant in here. So I was like, where's the plant?
Yeah, I was trying to help.
So we'll talk a little bit about this technique later, but I'm going to try and trick the camera a little bit. Okay. So we can focus on the plant, put him out of focus. We can bring him in focus there. But that's a good example. We'll talk about foreground separation later. Very basic concept, selecting your focal point. Gives you a little bit more flexibility and creative freedom whenever you're shooting. Let's see, the last thing we're gonna talk about is exposure control. So I'm gonna bring this light in on you real hot. Who here knows what exposure is? Just a term. In terms of photography. I know Marcus knows about exposure. Who knows here about photography? Or exposure basically just means brightness on an image. So try to look out that way.
Yeah, don't know why I'm staring right at the light. Literally felt like a deer in headlights. Like.
All right. So looking at the iPhone right now on the screen, it looks like everything's a bit overexposed, right?
Yes.
His skin tone is not true to what it should be. We see these highlights. He's looking kind of yellowish, you know, that type of thing. So what I can do is tap on his face and see that little sun that showed up right there? I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to pull it down.
Ooh, that's a nice trick. Oh, I'm going to do that.
Okay. Let me get that. Let me get that.
There you go.
There you go. So you can see right now.
Oh.
Yeah, looking great. It's going to look awesome as black and white too. We'll play with that later. Okay.
That's a portrait right there. That's a profile pic.
Those of you on iPhone real quick, there's this little, looks like we might have got, there we go. There's a little kind of caret angle thing at the top of the screen. It's right above Sai's head right now. If you push that, you get all these cool little features down here, okay? The first kind of target looking thing with the circles, that's whenever you can take a picture and choose your moment. Most people know about that. Let's see, this one right here. That you can select your colors in like before you take the photo. It's kind of nice if you have a particular style that you like, whether it be cool, warm, vibrant, or rich contrast. You can have that set all the time. Kind of nice if you have an aesthetic direction on your feed. Okay, you can keep it consistent the entire time. Real basic cropping stuff, 4/3. We can shoot square if we like shooting square for Instagram or another social media. 16:9, which doesn't look great vertically, but horizontally looks awesome. Side nose. And then this is also that little plus minus, you can control exposure below as well. Okay. So sometimes I will recommend, try that little sun thing. Sometimes the camera tries to guess. And if you kind of move away from something, it comes back up. So that little exposure at the very bottom of the screen there will help you kind of lock that in before you take the shot. All right, thank you, Sai.
No, thank you. Come on, 15 minutes to sing.
All right. Did we get any comments or any interaction on the online?
I'm getting a little bit, just a great refresher about the rule of thirds, and I think people are paying attention very, very closely.
Awesome. Need another volunteer, anybody? Awesome, Brandon, coming up. Let's hear it for Brandon. Brandon, welcome.
How's it going?
Cool, man. Tell the people at home a little bit about yourself.
My name is Brandon Rodriguez, owner of Cat Tequila Photography and Videography. Been in Lancaster for about 2 years now. That's about it.
Awesome. Where are you coming from?
I'm originally from New York,
Oh, that's cool. What part of New York?
the Bronx.
The Bronx. Nice. Super cool. All right, come on over here and have a seat. All right, so here in this demo, we're going to talk about the basics of light, okay? And we're talking about the basics of light. People are like, I think the general public thinks light is light. You turn on a light switch, the light comes on, that type of thing, okay? But light has different qualities. You have hard light, soft light. You also have different colors of light, which people don't often think about unless they're like really buying a light bulb. You ever seen one of those houses where it's like orange on the inside and then blue on the outside, or vice versa? That's different temperatures and colors of light that we had to think about whenever we're taking pictures. So we won't get into temperatures too much, but I do want you to have an awareness of it. First thing we're going to talk about is the concept of small light versus big light. I'll grab my little wand here. So has anybody here, is it better to take a photo on a cloudy day or on a sunny day of a person?
Cloudy.
So wait, raise your hand for cloudy. Got most of the room. Sunny day. 1. Okay. You're wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, so the whole idea between small light and big light is imagine, let's see, I'll turn this light on real quick, sorry. Imagine turning on a lamp in your house that does not have a lampshade, okay? It's just a bare light bulb sitting on your nightstand or something like that. Is it gonna make like weird shadows? Okay. Now imagine when you put on a soft lampshade on it, it's gonna make the light more even, right? So when we're taking pictures of people, we don't really want harsh, like weird looking shadows. It's gonna distort their faces and make them look different not true to self in that sense. So I'm just gonna do a quick demo on what that looks like. This is a little light cube that I use on occasion.
Oh, nice. That's bright.
So this is an example of a small light. And if you think about it, I can just show you right here. That's not super flattering, right?
Right.
How's it look? People at home? Okay.
Cinematic.
Very dramatic, right? Very dramatic. So the whole idea, the reason that it's better to take a photo of a person on a cloudy day than it is on a sunny day is if you think about it, the sun is a very bright, but very kind of small point of light in the sky, okay? Which is funny we don't think about it because the sun's ginormous. But if you're looking at the sky and you look at what proportion of it is the sun, it's basically a small circle in the sky that's kicking out a bunch of light. So this is a little quick example. Brandon, I just want you to look straight ahead at the audience there. So I'm gonna come in like that. Actually, I'm gonna get it from the other side for the camera. So you can kind of see that weird shadow kind of coming off his face right there. Not super flattering. Sun's coming up in the sky. It's high noon. Look at his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He's got pocketed eyes there. Okay. Let's see if we bring it around. Actually, when you start getting close to sunset, it starts getting better. You see that?
Yep.
Okay, that's good. So just a little quick demo on that. I'm going to start bringing in bigger sources of light and we can see which is better. All right, so this guy's pretty bright too. Okay, so bigger source of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Better, right?
Yes.
Coming up over his eyes. You see more distribution, less pocketing in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's another quick example there. I'm actually going to snap a photo of that just real quick. We'll share it with everybody. We'll do one of each. I'm gonna use my little exposure control. Okay, so this is with the medium light. You can smile if you want. You look super serious.
It's not just my face.
You can go super serious if you want. It's cool. Okay, so there's that. For comparison purposes, I'm going to show. I know this isn't on the screen right now what the phone is seeing, but I do want to show the side by side afterwards. Oh, right there.
Did you want your phone on the screen?
I do not. I'm just
Okay.
going to show the resulting photos afterwards. Okay, it's good right there. So we're going medium, small. And then I'll bring in this nice ring light. So funny note, all the equipment that we're using today is easily accessible primarily on Amazon.com. So I'm going to be throwing up links later in the presentation as to where you can get that. And a lot of times with these photos, it's very difficult to see, like in the live view, how good the quality of light is. Turn your chin straight forward a little bit. So right this way. Yep, right there. And you're scaring me a little bit. Smile. That's good. Nice. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to pull the phone up on the screen real quick. Dim this so Brandon doesn't go blind.
I find photographers don't make this subject.
Well, yeah, we're never on the other side of the camera, so. But no, you did great, man. So there is the iPhone. Okay. So this was that medium source of light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Looks all right. I mean, you can kind of see some like the shadows are just harder.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like it goes, and what I mean by hard shadows, it means it goes from light to dark really quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the last photo, there's a hard shadow there where it comes off, but see where his eye is?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have all that kind of weirdness happening over here with the shadows and stuff like that. It's a smooth transition.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, I know for a lot of people that's kind of like, okay, like I don't have professional photography equipment or anything like that. Like, how am I going to utilize that? Okay. So, you know, one of the main things is like, you know, don't try to light someone's face with your iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, definitely don't do that. It's a very small source of light. If you're going to take pictures of people, shoot for cloudy days, but it's not really a big deal because if it's a sunny day, you can go into some shade. Okay. One of the tricks that I also like to do is if you're shooting in the shade on a cloudy day, you don't know where the sun is, right? Kind of, sort of. You have a general idea?
Right.
So one of the tricks that I'll actually do is if I don't know where the sun is, I'll just hold my hand like this. So if that's the sun over there, I'm on the shadow side and you can't see very much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as I start to turn, you know, I start saying, okay, that's where the light's coming from.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And that's where I'm going to face the person. Okay. A lot of times I say nothing when this happens, but a lot of times people will say, oh, I want to get a picture by the window. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just show the camera what this looks like. You know, imagine this is a window here.
Yeah. You get all dark. Yeah. You know.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If I stand in front of the window, so the light should be behind the photographer, or at least off to an angle,
Mm-hmm.
right? Looking much better. Okay, so that's just some basic applications that you use when understanding light. Yeah, you know, cloudy is better, shade is better for people, stuff like that. If you're shooting landscapes and you want that blue sky, you want that building shot, shoot it middle of the day when the sun is bright and blue, all that type of stuff. I could go on and on because there's all kinds of like apps and stuff. Yep, question.
I know this is for photo, but that little box light that you have,
Yeah.
could you use that for video, or could I use that for video?
You could, actually. That's a great question. Brandon, I'm going to show you.
Just in case.
Oh, the question is, our friend here is asking about, can we use this little box light for video? Okay. It could be good for really good for product. Okay. This guy does have little mounts on the side, so you can attach it to a light stand if you want. And Brandon, I just want you to hold this light and kick it off the side of my face. And just put a little kick right here. So you see this little line that's happening right here?
Mm-hmm.
This is what's known as a kick light. Okay. And basically what that does is separates the person from the background. So take it away real quick. See how I blend into the black sheet and then throw up the kick? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes dimensional light. The whole idea is whenever we're making, you know, more quality video, more quality production and things like that, you want it to feel more dynamic, meaning kind of like more real, less flat, you know, that type of thing. So light is a quick and easy way to do that. Cool. Double check, make sure we have nothing left on that demo. Oh yeah, the one thing that we'll talk about just super quick is the angle of light, which we kind of touched on real quick. Just have a seat real fast. This is kind of cool. This is where it starts to get creative. Okay, you got that light kind of highlighting the room. So Brandon's a dude. So, he agrees. So we can get away with stuff like this. Angle of light, shadows is going to make different looks. Okay. So I'm going to bring the exposure down again. Let's go to half light example. Look straight ahead, don't smile. You got kind of a Terminator thing going on there. Okay. Ideally for like beauty stuff, we see a lot of YouTubers doing this. Sorry. This is just like a flat ring light where you're shooting through the ring. This is a very popular beauty look. Okay. A lot of ladies' makeup mirrors are in circular ring lights style fashion. If you go to any makeup artist or hairstylist, they're going to have a ring light there. Okay. It's more of a beauty look head on. Okay. And then we got like, this is standard photography world, we call it Rembrandt lighting. It's about 30 to 45 degrees to the right. And this is where we have a little bit more of a gradient from right to left. Real dynamic on his face. So basically what that's going to show, I'll just snap that real quick. Basically what that's going to show is it's more, oh, my finger's in there, that's great. An iPhone edited it for me. So this is kind of like a standard lighting technique. Okay, always reliable, always good. All right. If you have someone in front of a window, angle the window about 30, 45 degrees. Oop. If you have someone in front of a window, angle them about 30, 45 degrees off to the side. You'll get that nice look that we have on that photo. Yes?
I have a question about exposure, because I saw you adjust it after you took the picture.
Right.
Which is better, to do it before you take the picture or after you take the picture?
It's really potato. You know, it's very versatile. That's the thing when you have like a camera that's thinking for you, which a lot of iPhones and Samsungs will do all the time, and even like professional DSLRs. Luckily they give you an out in the editing, so you can adjust afterwards. I mean, like professional photographers are all about get it right in camera the first time, but they're also taking hundreds of photos. That type of thing. They just want to save time on editing.
So for the everyday average person, it doesn't really matter if you adjust exposure after.
Right. You just want it to be correct at the final image. Funny story, like whenever I was coming up as a photographer, I used to reach out to these professionals and I'd look at their websites and everything was perfect and like all that type of stuff. And, I felt like this big, So I would always email them and be like, hey, can I come carry your bags? Because I really wanted to learn. I wanted to be a pro, all this type of stuff. I just wanted to learn from people that are doing it. And there's this one band photographer that was photographing in my town, and I was hanging out with him, carrying his bags. And I just asked him, I said, how do you get all your photos to look like so perfect and like crystal clear and everything's great? He said, I delete the bad ones. Right? So, show the good stuff. Show the good stuff. Shoot a lot. It's not, there's some I think people think photographers are going to show up and they're going to take one click and everything's going to be perfect. But it's really kind of like a dialing in process, and then only show your best stuff. Little tip on that. A lot of times people get overwhelmed with the number of images that they have, and they say, well, how do I select the best one? Okay. My whole kind of litmus test for that is it has to invoke a response in you. So the first time I brought the exposure down with Cy, the whole room went, ooh, right? That's the indicator. Okay, if you felt it, chances are someone else is going to feel it. Okay? Any other questions while we're here? Cool. So yeah, I mean, just basic stuff. Is that working, Chuck?
Yep.
Beauty light. standard lighting. Super dramatic, seldom used Terminator look. Okay? All right, thank you, Brandon. Let's see what we got next. Okay, so I'm not going to go take a deep dive into this so much. There's foreground separation. We kind of saw it whenever Cy was holding his hand out, right? And he was holding the AirPods in front. Experiment with that a bit. Put something in the foreground and that kind of blurs out, and then pick what you want to focus on and take a picture of that. Makes the photo more three-dimensional. So you have like a blurry spot, a focus spot, and then you have the background, which should be blurry as well. That's going to make people feel like they're really in it. Odd crops. So rule of thirds is not a rule, surprisingly. Okay, there's actually something called rule of fifths, which is also not a rule. So, but I also strongly believe that you have to know what the rules are before you break them. Otherwise, you're just kind of chaotically crossing your fingers and shooting out there and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to experiment with like odd compositions and different type of stuff, especially if you're trying to get real arty. And then using colored light. So we'll get into this a little bit when we get into the YouTube. But this little guy right here, this is called Young Now YN363. You get it on Amazon for about $100, $120. It's a little light wand. Just clicks on like that. I can get different temperatures of light, different brightnesses. So I'm going to bring up the blue side, bring down the orange side. So see how that's like a nice clean white light? Okay. Also does RGB color. If I can get it there. There it is. So you get like this little color wheel. Imagine how cool this would look on YouTube. You know, if I'm doing a little kick light back here.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing you can do is you get multiple ones of these if you're really trying to go like kind of like fine art route and stuff like that. Get a pink one and a blue one. We've all seen it online and stuff like that. You can get kind of that fashion look with a couple of these. These are $100. Great general source of light whenever the light you need is not there.
And that's in your link, right?
Yep. There's the last slide. I've got some links, and maybe you can post those in the comments on the YouTube replay. Going to get into basic iPhone editing. This part should be reasonably quick. So just do this right here and share that screen. Who here is edited on their iPhone, just in the basic editing app? All right, about a third of the room. Okay, that's pretty good. The first thing you'll notice, that's such a good photo. We'll do that. The first thing that you'll notice in the photo is that, or in the editing app, here at the bottom, there's this little edit button. And there's a lot of different things that you can do. Okay, so there's the basic, auto, which again, the phone is guessing for you. We have exposure control, which is kind of nice. That's just the basic overall brightness. Brilliance, this just kind of makes it, brings the highlights out. So I kind of like that. Looks pretty good right there. Highlights, that's just like the brighter parts of the photo, okay? So watch this, just watch kind of like little gleam on his face. Sliding it down. See that? I like my highlights just to be right at the edge. Gives them a little glow. Okay? There's a bunch of these in here. Don't get overwhelmed. Just play with them whenever you have the chance. Shadows is just bringing up the dark sides. So if I bring shadows all the way down, watch like his hairline at the top. See if you can bring that out just like a little bit. So you're starting to see more detail there?
Yeah.
Just a touch. People get kind of confused with shadows sometimes. If you bring it down, it adds more contrast, more dramatic. If you bring them up, say someone's wearing a black shirt and it looks like it's just flat black, you can bring the shadows up and get a little more detail on their shirt. And details interest contrast, people know what that is. Brightness, I won't touch that. Black point, we won't get into that. Vibrancy, I like to use a lot. So watch his shirt. Did you see that? So all the way down, almost like a matte look. And there's no real correct way to edit. You just have to understand what things are doing, because this is all artistic freedom right here. If you've got a feed that's a little bit more on the light and bright side, that's a little bit more like low contrast, kind of like light and airy, you can go that route. If you want to bring in vibrance, if you got a more colorful, clean style, which is my personal preference, that doesn't really matter, but you can go bring the vibrance up. Color temperature, really important. Has anyone here ever taken a photo that looks blue? Or like overly orange in like a tungsten room? You can totally control that. Really easy button, it just looks like a thermometer. If I bring it this way, it's gonna go bluish. Okay, if I bring it the other way, it's gonna go super warm. Now there is such a thing as, oop, we lost it there, there you go. There is such a thing as over editing, okay? And typically when I'm editing, the most important things I'm really looking for is skin tone. I want the skin tone to be true to the person that I'm photographing. So I kind of use that as my low barometer. Let's get him like right there. So look right, Brandon?
Yeah.
Awesome.
IG filters can make it look like a cartoon.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, that's a really good segue, because we'll go into the filters that are naturally built into iPhone. I like to edit my photos on iPhone before I upload them to Instagram or anything like that. Because typically once you do a filter, there's really not a whole lot of fine tuning you can do, or at least not as much as you can do on your cell phone. So, or smartphone. But let's go. So I like using dramatic. It's probably my favorite filter. Just makes it a little bit more contrasty, that type of thing. And this thing's gonna look really good in black and white, I feel like. Not bad. So we're going to mono. I'm just gonna do a final edit on this. I'm gonna bring his shadows up. Let's bring shadows down. Okay. And then one of these cool things here, noise reduction definition. I believe sometimes it's called structure. But if you want to look really edgy, you can crank up the definition. Right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Almost looks like a tintype, which my buddy Photolay does. So yeah, you can get some really, basically a whole lot of creative freedom just experimenting with those. Highly encourage you to just play with them. Whenever you're starting out, don't think about everything. Just think about making the photo better than what it was. Okay? Are y'all getting something out of this?
Big time, big time.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So we're going to do a basic YouTube setup. Okay. Fun little video right here. We're not going to hear the sound, I don't think, or maybe the people on the internet will hear the sound, but I don't think we'll hear it here in the room. My daughter, I picked her up from school the other day, and I brought her to the candy factory because I had some work that I had to complete. And she was like, "Dad, how much longer do we have to be here? There's no candy." Yeah, at the candy factory, you know, that type of thing. So she was basically just kind of like sweating it out, and I felt bad. So I hit export on my photos, and that was going to take like 20, 30 minutes. I said, let's go explore. Let's go to the media studio. And for those of you who have never been to the candy factory has this amazing media wing that's just across the parking lot. Great for content creators. They have a sound isolation booth. They also have people that do podcasts and can produce or teach you how to do all these different social media content type of things. So what we decided to do is we went into the recording studio. Okay. Now, like, who here has kids? Right? And they're on YouTube, right? Not on YouTube, but they're watching YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So it's so funny because, you know, my generation was TV, and our kids' generation is YouTube and stuff like that. She's totally fascinated by it. So this was a real quick lighting setup. All this is a ring light, and then also a colored light that we set on the floor and kind of shot up on the wall. Okay, that texture definitely adds some cool things. So that's really good. But yeah, I'll just kind of play it real quick. But we reviewed the Swedish candy shop across the street. But I mean, looking at the quality of that video, I don't think anyone could really tell like what that was shot on, personally. This was shot on iPhone 13. Okay, in like HD quality. I have a good friend that has a YouTube channel. He uses pretty much the exact same setup and an iPad to record his channel, and the production quality is fantastic. So you don't need a whole lot. Do you have any do we have any YouTubers in the house? Chuck. I can't bring Chuck up for a demo. Janet, you want to jump in?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So we'll just go with the same setup real quick. I just want to show everybody what this looks like. And just so you know, we're probably about 3 or 4 slides away till the end of the presentation. So if anyone's thinking about that or has to head out, go ahead and have a seat right here. It's okay.
It's only $100.
No, it's fine. Let's see here. Thank you, Janet. There we go. So again, beauty light. Try not to look at the light, look straight ahead. That's good right there. We're gonna get this, just because of the light stand situation, we're not gonna get it perfectly in the middle. Or maybe we can. Bring the whole thing kind of close. You didn't know you were gonna be on camera today, did you? You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna zoom it in just like a little bit right there. You can see we're getting a little bit too much detail and brightness up there, so we're gonna bring that contrast down. Bring this light down just a little touch. And then I'm gonna pick, what's your favorite color?
Pink.
Let's go pink. I'm just gonna give her, so this is a little thing. You notice how it got brighter again after we walked away? The exposure kind of reset. That's when you can go in here and just kind of lock it in. It's that little caret button at the top. Okay. So from here we can do a couple different things. Oops. Apologies. Good. So we can add like a little kick, like right over here. Oh, I'm in it. And get that light all the way out. But you can see that kind of like happening on her hair right there, right? So you can do like a little kick light. You know, obviously you want to set it up so that the light's not in the image. There we go. That's good right there. Or we can add, if this was a textured wall, if we turn you sideways. Let's turn you sideways real quick. And actually scoot that stool right over here.
Okay.
And scoot a little closer this way so I can get behind you. That's good right there, and look this way. Awesome. So if you just want to add like a little pizzazz to like your videos, your reels and stuff like that, it's pretty easy to set up like a little home studio. All this is a little white sheet that we got over here, and then we can splash some color onto it. Okay, look right at the camera. Say hi to the people at home.
Hello.
There you go. So just a couple of quick, easy tricks to kind of spice up the social media. Look at that. Bland.
Poppin'.
Poppin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thank you, Janet. All right, coming up on the end of the presentation here, I just got a couple things that I want to show. Again, this is some examples of the equipment list to upgrade your social. That ring light sells for $30 on Amazon. That light wand sells for about $112. The prism, which I did not use, but I can show you guys here in the audience how that works later. It's just like a little piece of glass that you can use for foreground separation. If you've ever seen those wedding photos where it starts to get kind of like reflecty and rainbowy at the bottom, it's just a little piece of glass that you can buy for $10.99. LED finger lights, more, you can add color with those. Those are about 10 bucks. And then this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment. It's called a DJI Osmo. So it looks kind of complicated, right? I mean, this thing looks like, how much would you think this costs?
$99.
Oh, without looking at the screen, I gave you the answer. So basically what this does, I'm not actually going to attach my phone to it, but the phone goes here, okay? You turn it on, it kind of powers up like this little robot like Johnny 5, okay?
Is it live?
And Johnny 5 alive, right? And what you do is as you walk around, the motors in this thing completely stabilize it, okay? So I've seen people run with this, and as long as you don't bounce too much, the footage is way smoother than you get if you're a handheld carrying something. Really smooths out the footage. This product costs $99. This particular version is the Osmo 4. It's my favorite. And I'm just going to show you what that footage looks like. Ready? I've shown people footage like this before, and they're like, "Do you have a small drone? Like, what is going on here?" There's a little bounce in this video. I wasn't super careful about that, but that has like a pretty cinematic look, right? Again, $99, works with your phone, and you can record. Look at her, she's angry that she got dropped in the water. But yeah, stuff like that. You can make little mini clips and stuff for your social media. Super easy to do. This thing's also great. You can attach this to a light stand or a tripod here at the bottom. So if you had this on a light stand, recording videos of yourself with the light and a little color splash, you're good to go. Okay, so you can do a lot with very little. So that's it. That's my presentation. We went over some facts about social media, some hidden, seldom used iPhone features. I feel like the people here got a lot out of that. I talked about some general lighting, creative photo techniques, basic lighting set for YouTube, and cheap must-have gear, or let's just call it affordable. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Thank you everyone at home for joining us. Thank you all here for joining us today. If you want to connect with me on the socials, all my information is right there. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And thank you, Chuck and Janet, EXP, The Candy Factory, Rockstar Connect. And stay tuned for the next Success Seminar. Appreciate it, guys.